Hi guys, I thought I'd just do a quick update before I do part 3 of my faith journey, which will take place in the rest room of ICP because the next all night is coming up tonight. Yay! So I'm really looking forward to it, I can tell you. Because God has literally saved my life in these all nights. You know, He's really worked in me quite dramatically over 3 years. And when I say that, I don't exaggerate that the NHS really let me down, but kind of unintentionally, because I knew I had these two cancers. One was in the immune system and one was in the skin. And without knowing what to do about it did cause me an immense amount of physical pain. I mean, this thing used to literally eat me alive in the side of the head and the back of the neck and the back of the head and also the shoulder blade. But there's been a few breakthroughs this month, some positive breakthroughs. First is I do have an appointment for a very good private clinic, which I'm going to do in a few weeks. Having exhausted the NHS system, I'm actually eligible for an S2 form, you know, which I won't rule out if this UK one lets me down. But the good news is I fixed my thyroid gland this season, which I couldn't understand why the treatments were working, but they were wearing off all the time. So I was taking the right things, but they kept wearing off, you know. And then I'd wake up like Groundhog Day, with this. It wasn't worse, but it was the same, you know, and without them, I would get so bad I'd have heart emergencies. So I discovered that by rectifying my thyroid gland, and they say you can't do that privately, but you can do it privately, I've suddenly got more energy than I had before, and there's been an improvement in the cyst formation. But the second thing was I found these lotions that I could use topically on the skin itself, because even though the tablets were helping, I was still in an immense amount of pain because the cyst was just eating into the fibres of the skins deeper and deeper, from dermy to subcutaneous, and then even reaching the bone. And then my immune system was just playing havoc as well. So what I discovered was if I treated it topically, and having exhausted the NHS dermatologists that were bloody useless, I have to say, sorry to use that language, but they were absolutely appallingly useless. I'm really looking forward to seeing an expert in a few weeks. Because these guys, they have the machinery to do all the scans that they want without even a biopsy. And I found the lotions that I discovered on the private market were far better than the ones that they prescribed. You know, they were prescribing me lotions, but they weren't doing much, you know. So these ones I bought were really, the moment you put it on, there would be an instant relief of pain. And that added another 3 hours of my sleeping night, because what happened was I wasn't sleeping till 4 o'clock in the morning and I was waking up at 11. So there's no way that I can have a working life in that state, you know. And some nights I'd even stay awake until 6 a.m. and then I wouldn't eat the next day, so it was just playing havoc. But at least with these lotions, so far so good. They seem to be easing it the moment I put it on the dermis. I can't wait to tell the expert about this. And just easing the actual pain itself, healing the dermis up, and there's an instant improvement in the skin texture, and these lesions were literally turning into cancers And then with the dodgy thyroid as well, like, I was good for nothing. I can tell you, I was good for nothing. So I'm feeling quite happy. And the other thing I did this season was I wanted to do an experiment about whether being near the sea improved my immune system, because my immune system was just like terrible, you know, it was really bad. And when I see my new GP, I'm going to be asking them for tests about that, you know, but I might have rectified it with the thyroid. So I did an experiment, and the experiment was 20 plus beaches in 7 heat waves. Because being the fact that I live close enough to be able to reach Cardigan Bay, and there were, like, you know, I literally did an experiment of whether being closer to the sea was going to heal my immune system, you know, because you have all these charities doing cancer research, but no one's actually done the most obvious one. We're surrounded by ocean in the UK, you know, and the ocean has huge healing benefits. So maybe they missed the wood from the trees. I don't think it would work on its own. I think you would need other treatments to go with it. But my premise was, would your immune system be more better if you were closer to the sea? And I think the answer has to be yes. Because everyone who's seen me lately has said there's an absolute proven difference in my physical appearance. Now I'm still getting these kind of strange sweats, you know. I'm still getting that, you know. I'm not 100% completely better, but I should be saying that in faith. I should be declaring my healing as a Christian. You know how it works? You get what you speak, you know, if you're a Christian. I'm declaring my healing before God though. So my goal was to get better before the really bad weather came, and I couldn't get closer to beaches in the winter time. So I've been trying to hit as many beaches as I can, and just simply, you know, taking my treatments and resting on those beaches. Rather than doing it at home, I've been trying to get better on the beaches, you know. And being you've got direct bus routes that literally take you right to the beaches, did you know that? They do. These bus routes are very good. They're only £4 and they just literally, they take you to every beach. It's quite easy, even if you're poorly, to get from one beach to another. And a taxi isn't that expensive, to be honest with you. I mean, it's quite cheap. So, like, and then I found that I was actually eating more meals that way. You know, there's something about being stuck at home that, you know, I don't know, just tend to, and if you're dealing with something physically and it's not mental, there's something about being near the sea that just improves your appetite, gets you wanting a sandwich and a Diet Coke, and then, like, you know, and also it kind of eases your physical pain. So if you're going through something right now, if you're going through a physical cancer, like, or something, or a Hodgkin's lymphoma, don't just stay stuck indoors. You know, I want to encourage you. We are surrounded by hundreds of beaches in this country. Like, while the heat waves are still coming, try and get someone to take you. Do you know, they even have, these days, at Cardigan Bay, they even have these special wheelchairs at the cafes. They've got these massive wheels. And someone can literally put you in one of these big wheelchairs and wheel you to the beach, to the sea, you know. They've got massive wheels. They're like a new development in you know, travelling aids for people that can't walk, you know. And there were moments when mine got bad in the back of the spine and I could hardly move my legs, you know. But I was determined to get there, even if I had to crawl on my knees. I was determined to, like, overcome it, you know. And how could a woman who couldn't even bend down, even if I drop a coin, I find it hard sometimes to pick it up, go to the beach? But I tell you the truth, there's something about it that just changes everything. You know, it should be called an NHS beach therapy or something, because you know it makes you happy. It like helps you to enjoy your life. You know, I've been glowing with happiness, glowing with peace, glowing with health, glowing with goodness, and just keeping these treatments going. Another thing I found that I could buy cheaply that really improved my condition was you can get liquid folic acid in Savers. So that was costing me about £15 like every 2 weeks, because the NHS tablets aren't that good, and they found in my blood I needed more iron, a lot more iron for some reason. Like do you call it sickle cell anemia? So that was actually diagnosed. And one thing they did for me was that. But like, I found that if I took liquid folic acid, it would go into my blood instantly, and I would feel better. And in Savers, they have these cheaper ones, which instead of paying £15, you're paying £4. So I'm happy for a number of reasons. I'm happy that my iron's gone down in price. I'm happy that I've also found a thyroid treatment. Even if the new GP doesn't bother to like re-prescribe it to me, I can sort myself out even without them. And also, I'm still taking special tablets for the infection itself. And I'm also trying to just hit as many beaches before the weather changes, because once that winter time arrives, if we're not raptured before then, those who've been watching JD Frog, and I kind of believe him, you know, then like it'd be too cold to go to the beach if been given treatments, you know. But you might find someone who'll drive you there, or you could take one of the buses. So I might be trying to hit some other beaches after the all night if we're still here, and I can just thank God that He's really, really, really moved me forward into new grounds of like hope, which is why I'm doing hope documentaries. I'm doing hope documentaries to inspire others. If you're dealing with physical illness that makes you feel like you've got no hope, there is hope. There's hope. You can buy vitamins even if the NHS has let you down like it did to me. You can eventually see private doctors, you can see private clinics, you can go forward, and then you can like physically address your issues, and then you can enjoy your life, you know. But I can honestly say that if I hadn't gone to these all nights, I don't think God would have guided me forward that well. So, like, I'm going there tonight. It's 144A High Street, Aston. I hope to see you there in Birmingham if you're going to go and worship God. There's something about worshipping God which just helps everything. Because when you put God first above all of your problems, when you put Him first, He will put you first. You know, if you just fix your eyes on Jesus, if you just surrender your life to Jesus, and you put Him first, I guarantee He will personally take interest in whatever it is you're going through, and He will help you to go forward in some way. He will ease your pain. He will help you to be happy even in the strangest circumstances, and He will be your guide, you know. So I just want to say Shabbat Shalom, and have a really, really great Friday. If you can't get to Birmingham, I hope you have a great weekend, and I love you all guys, and I'll see you later. Bye.